Hello everyone, Nathaniel here from SuperGameCrashers and welcome back to our classic Tekkit series. Welcome to episode 9.5.2. So this is a continuation of our last episode where we're in the Ark. I've just gone over Red Power and we'll go straight into Billcraft. Now, I think this is where the confusion came from because I called Red Power Billcraft and I stopped doing that after episode 2. So hopefully there shouldn't be too much confusion. So let's get into it. So Billcraft. Okay, so Billcraft is a way of converting a new naturally occurring entity in the world called oil, and basically use the oil to power your machines in Billcraft and so on and so forth. I'm going to cover this now, but it's really not going to be very necessary because when we get into episode 10, we won't actually be needing the oil because we'll be using something called a sort of converter. And the converter will convert industrial craft energy and Billcraft energy into power for these machines. But I'll cover it anyway. So basically this mod basically converts oil into fuel and then fuel into energy, which is used to power the greatest machine of all, the quarry. But before I get into that, let's go over how you do it. You're going to need yourself a pump, and a pump is a really simple device. It's made from a mining well, which is an iron gear, which is made from a stone gear, which is made from a wooden gear, which is made from 4 sticks, and just a lot of iron and some redstone. And then of course you'll need one of these called a tank, which is just 8 glass, and a pump. Basically, if you give it power, most notably engine power, it will start sucking up the oil or water or lava or whatever it may be, what kind of liquid it is, out of the ground and into a pipe where it can be stored in a tank. And as you guys know, how to make tanks. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the refinery. Now, the refinery is a very cool item. It's quite expensive because you need a diamond gear, so that's 4 diamonds, 4 gold, 4 iron, 4 stone, and of course 4 sticks, and cobblestone, I'm sorry, and of course 3 tanks and 2 redstone. Now the refinery converts oil into fuel. Basically these back 2 areas fill with oil, and then in the front here it starts collecting fuel, and then you just collect the fuel out and use it to power your engines. So a redstone engine, it's not very good at powering a refinery, but it is very useful at powering a pump. If you put 2 redstone engines by a pump, it will happily suck all the water or the oil out without ever worrying about the engine exploding. If the redstone engine is powered but not doing anything, then it will probably explode. Moving on, we have the combustion engine. Basically, you put fuel in here, that fuels it, and you also put water in it to keep it cool, and give it a bit of a redstone signal, and it'll start producing energy from fuel or from oil. Very, very useful device. Basically, you need this to power your refinery, but when you're getting going, of course, you're just going to use a bit of oil to get going. This engine is actually really simple to make. If I type it in, if I just type in engine, I can show you all the engines. Redstone engine, wooden gears, piston, glass, wooden planks, combustion engine, iron gears, iron ingots, piston, glass. There is another engine called a steam engine, but I personally find steam engines to be complete and utter waste of time because all you're doing is wasting your coal when you could just use a combustion engine or a redstone engine. So they use coal, they don't require water, they're pretty simple devices. This is a mining well. It's a sort of the first tier of a quarry, and what a mining well does, I think I've already shown you this. Yeah. What a mining well does is if you give it power, it will mine straight down. It doesn't go in any direction, it just mines straight down, a big line right down. So if you were on top of a mountain and you gave it power, it would mine its way all the way down, and the items would just pop out of the top as it was going down. It's kind of useful, I guess, but I personally find just skipping over this and making myself a quarry is more efficient, because a mining well is really sort of a hit and miss, whereas a quarry will mine out a big area. Okay, the next thing we're going to go over is a landmark. Landmarks are basically used to, if you say you didn't want the default size of the quarry, you wanted a massive quarry, you use landmarks, and when you place the quarry next to the landmark, it would then re-script itself to go for that full size. It's very useful if you want to make big mining areas, which we will do eventually. And it's just lapis, a useful lapis and a redstone torch. So fantastic. Okay, so these pipes. Now, I mistakenly said these pipes were industrial craft related. They're not Buildcraft related, and I apologise for that. Basically, to extract liquids out of any machine, you will need a wooden waterproof pipe. Anything wooden, any wooden pipe is an extraction pipe. Basically, it will allow you to transfer whatever it is out of a machine, an engine, what have you, into wherever it's going. So you need this to extract. And if I just type in pipe, it'll come up with a big list, but you can see them all. So wooden pipes, easy, it's just wooden planks and a glass in the center. You get 8 of them. And waterproof is wooden transport type with pipe waterproof, which is made from cactus green, which is made, of course, from cactus in an oven or a furnace or whatever it is you want to use. The same goes for stone waterproof pipe. I personally find that stone is better. Stone, basically, the higher tier of the element that you're using, such as if you're using cobblestone, means that it will transfer very slowly. Stone is the second bit up, then of course you've got iron, then gold, and finally diamond. Stone is more than enough, I find anyway. And basically it's just stone, glass, and of course the waterproof on top. So super simple. The quarry. I have spelt the quarry wrong. I've put... How embarrassing. I think I was quite tired when I made this section. Anyway, so a quarry, which is spelt incorrectly, is a device which you power using your combustion engines. It has to be combustion engines. You can use the other engines, but it won't really get very far. And what it does is it mines out a massive area. When it's plunked down, it shows a sort of invisible frame, and then when it starts receiving power, it will start building the frame around. What the quarry does is once it's built the frame and it starts mining, it will shoot the blocks out of the top. So you want to put like a pipe on here or something and have it transferred into a chest. The final pipes I'm going to go into is conductive pipe. It's pretty much the same as the waterproof pipe or transport pipes. Basically, you put a wooden conductive pipe on top of an engine, and then you put the gold conductive pipe for wherever you want to transfer it to. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. I can actually show you. So, wooden transport pipe with redstone, golden transport pipe with redstone. Super simple. Right, let's get into the last section, equivalent exchange. This is the last thing that I covered. I think I started equivalent exchange before I started Buildcraft because it's very useful at getting lots of resources fast. So, let's begin. I haven't got one in here, that's weird. Okay, divining rods. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay, so a divining rod allows you to find ores. What it does is if you hold it in your hand and you click, it says it's found a value around 4. This is the smallest of the two. It's made from covalent dust, which is made from basically 8 cobblestone and 1 charcoal. Super simple to make, and a stick in the center. Then you want to upgrade it with the next version of covalent dust, which is made from redstone and iron. And finally, the last version of covalent dust is coal and a diamond. It's very ironic that it's using coal, considering that this is made from charcoal. So, and basically what these things do is, with the first one, it will start searching for 4 blocks into the wall. So 4 blocks in every direction, it is when it'll start searching. And it's very useful for mining. I actually found the divining rod in this playthrough specifically was not actually that useful. Most of the time I found myself a big cave and I was able to explore the cave and just get loads of resources that way. So at first the divining rod can help out depending on if you find a cave area. If not, it's quite useful. You'll need to sort of get quite a ways so you can build yourself a nether portal. You'll need to go into the nether so you can... once again, this chest is empty. I did put stuff in this. I don't know why it's not here. To make yourself one of these, a philosopher's stone. I call it a pea stone, you call it a philosopher's stone, whatever. And yeah, it's a diamond, redstone, and glowstone, which is the reason why you need to go to the nether. That's the reason why I've made this area out of nether brick. So this mod really does concentrate on you being able to get into the nether. So yeah, very useful. And a philosopher's stone is basically used for transmuting other ores into other ores. So 4 iron ore will turn into 1 gold ore, 4 gold ore into diamond, and so on and so forth. So it's very good at transmutating items. You can also transmute floors and the walls and everything. It's kind of useful. Yeah, pretty simple. The next thing we're going to talk about is energy collectors. Now these things are quite complicated. They look complicated, but they're kind of useful at the same time, kind of useless. I don't really use these things very often because I will just build myself an EMC farm, which is a combination of both industrial craft, Billcraft, and equivalent exchange. So it's very interesting to use that. Oh, red power as well. So all 4 mods combined together can make yourself a pretty powerful EMC farm. Basically, if you put something like this in the bottom of there, or coal, it'll turn the coal into something else. You can also set it to target something if you really want to. And they're all pretty much the same, they just gather up more energy depending on the tier. This is tier 1, this is tier 2, this is tier 3. We haven't gone into these two, but personally, I really don't use energy collectors. I find them to be extremely overpowered compared to EMC farms. So basically, if you put this next to, say, an energy collector, an energy condenser, it will power the condenser and you can target a specific item for it to make, so like diamonds or something. So kind of useful, but again, very overpowered. The next item is a transmutation table, and what this thing does is, when I turn it, it allows it to learn items, so I can then take them out, and it won't learn ores in their pure form, but it will learn them in their processed form, and a few other items. And basically, if I were to fill this up with a load of nickelite, I could then transmute nickelite directly into redstone if I really wanted, or if I had a Klein star, which I will get into in just a second, I can actually transmute what is known as energy into matter. So redstone, nickelite, glowstone, stuff like that, coal is known as energy, and anything that has physical matter is, matter. And I can then burn them, use a Klein star, collect all their energy, and then convert that energy back into matter. So I could use a load of nickelite and make myself a ton of chests if I really wanted to. I wouldn't, because it would be a phenomenal waste of energy, but anyway. So basically, Klein stars are used to convert, collect the energy out of these things, and then use them to make others. So if I take one of these, this is the first one. I'm actually, I think, on this one in our playthrough, and this, of course, is the sphere, which is one of the biggest. You can see how much energy it needs. EMC is massive. To put it in perspective, a diamond is about 8,400 EMC, and that sphere is made from 6 million. So you can really see how much it needs. So if I were to, where's the nickelite gone? If I were to take this nickelite and I burned the nickelite, I've got 8,000. That's almost enough for a diamond. The only problem is it's stuck at fuel, meaning I can't use it. But if I stick this in here, take it out, no lock. If I were to give it an item, I could then turn it, see, no lock still, but I could still take stuff out and keep it. So it's very, very useful. It's sort of like a way of converting them into things. So Klein stars, very useful. Fuels, 4 coal with a P stone will make 1 alchemical coal. 4 alchemical coal with a P stone will make Mobius fuel, and 4 Mobius fuel with a P stone will make Eternalist fuel. You'll need Eternalist fuel to make these things because you need to make their centers. Hang on a second, let me show you actually. There we go. So that's pretty simple, very easy to make. But if I am to make energy, it's not showing up. I don't know why. There it is. I need dark matter to make dark matter, block of diamond, and Eternalist fuel. Right, let's move on. Whew. Getting through this quickly. Like I said, dark matter is just Eternalist fuel and a block of diamond, and you'll need dark matter because you'll want to make some really cool stuff in it. Very, very important. If I can find that Klein star, I can actually take this. You use dark matter to make this thing, which is Swift Wolf's Rendering Gale. Basically, this ring allows you to fly. It's made Swift. There we go. Using 4 dark matter, which is 139,000 EMC, so that's quite a lot of diamonds. I think that's 12 diamonds. No, it's not. It's about 16 diamonds, so it's a stack of diamonds. An iron band, which is a lava kit with loads of iron, and feathers. And with that, I can fly! Da, 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 da. This is the way I am flying in our new world, Brave New World. So if any of you are curious, this is how I'm flying. Basically, it's the easiest way of flying around. If you have this in your inventory and you fall from a great height, you won't take any fall damage either. But it will use a little bit of what is known as EMC, which is what's stored in this, to do that, as well as flying around. This is an energy condenser. This is the thing I said that if you put next to one of these and you target something, it will start making them. Obviously, this is being the highest, this is being the lowest, so this will produce it slowly. This will produce it slightly faster, and this will produce it much faster. And yeah, pretty simple, pretty easy to do. You can also shove stuff in there, and it will break it down into EMC, and then use it to power itself. Very cool. Let's let me have a drink. Whew. Oh yeah, I didn't expect 2 episodes. Anyway. Interdiction torch. Basically, an interdiction torch is a torch which is brighter than a normal torch. It does cost quite a lot of diamonds, but when you get going with this lot, that shouldn't be an issue. And the best thing about these things is if you put them down and mobs are near them, mobs will be pushed away, so you can actually hang around one of these and a mob cannot touch you. The only thing that I will say is that any mob that fires arrows, such as skeletons, or uses any kind of projectile, they'll still be able to hit you with projectiles. So you're not completely safe, but it is a good way to light your paths and keep your areas safe. I'm actually playing on peaceful in this map, otherwise there'll be mobs absolutely everywhere. I didn't talk about this in the main series because I've never really needed it, because I was always using industrial craft items. But this is the Talisman of Repair, and it's made from covalence dust, paper and string. It's the reason why I was growing so much of that string, because I wanted a lot of them, but I decided against it. If you have this in your inventory and you have any sort of item that becomes damaged, the Talisman of Repair will actually fix them while they're in your inventory. So it's a good way of keeping your things repaired while you're playing along. But I don't use it because I use the drill a lot, so it wasn't really necessary. Now these things, I haven't gone into these in the main series, but I will eventually. These are called antimatter relays, and what they do is, remember me talking about if you put something next to these and it'll start powering them? Well, if you put one of these on top of one of these, it'll actually relay the energy from this thing onto an output source. So I could put like 4 of these around this. Or if I was really clever, I could actually stack these things on top of each other and put loads of them together. This is the reason why I think these things are overpowered. You can stack literally hundreds of these things together and hundreds of those together and get phenomenal amounts of EMC. And to be honest, I think that's just a little bit overkill. There really is no need to do that in this game. Once you start getting super overpowered stuff, I think the game becomes worthless. I just don't want to play it anymore. So yeah, like I said, there are 3 versions of them as well. So you've got 1, 2, and 3, and antimatter relays. Again, they're kind of difficult to make, but not that hard. So there you go, obsidian, block of diamond, and then this one would be dark matter, and then this would be red matter. I personally am not going to go super far into equivalent exchange in the playthrough, simply because it's just so overpowered. So overpowered. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything that we've covered in the series. And that's it, we've done. This was supposed to have a celebration thingy in it, but I never finished it. Yeah. Poor me. Let's get a pickaxe. This one will do. We'll break through to the other side. I've covered it all in covers. And that's it. We're done. We're back on ourselves. Fantastic. That's pretty much everything that we've covered in the past 2 episodes. Now, if you guys are still confused, I may return to the Ark and cover anything that I've missed out or I've messed up. But for now, I think I'll probably do it. It's good to get back into the series. I have been a little bit busy. It has been Valentine's Day weekend, hasn't it? So I've been busy at my job. But yeah, pretty maddening. all the complex stuff that we get in this mod pack. If you guys are still confused on stuff and want me to go into a bit more detail, I'll be happy to do that. I might probably make special rooms specific to certain items, such as these things, which I haven't talked about. This is a cover, but on the outside it's a frame, and frames are part of red power, and these things are the things we're going to use to make our flying fortresses. But I will get into that in our playthrough rather than in the Ark, but I might go into detail on it in the Ark. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope this clears up any confusion. So I look forward to seeing you guys in episode 10, where hopefully I will have the new intro. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and this is Nathaniel signing off. Bye bye!